I'm at the commercial property. Going to be doing some mowing with the Navigator. Put that around. Just finished unloading it. Sure, I've got everything. Yeah, we got everything unloaded. Truck locked, and gonna head out. Put this on the holder. All right, battery away. Let's see what we can do here. All right, gonna be doing mowing of my mowing my commercial property here. This is a really rough property. This will be the first time taking the Navigator on it for the first time this season. If you have any questions, leave them below. Let me know how the sound is. It's going to be noisy, but I'll answer the questions periodically. Here we go. Pretty rough. Probably my roughest lawn. A lot of sticks and debris every week. Sometimes lots of garbage too, because of the roadway. Big tire ruts everywhere from the semi trucks that come in and out of this place. And then the slopes. So on this property, sometimes you'll hear a full alarm come on from the navigator saying that the hopper's full, but it's just because the sensor is bouncing around from this property being so rough. It's only when it goes on consistently that you know that it's actually because the hopper's full. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, this is a lawn that I never worry about striping. It's kind of an afterthought. Mowing at 2.5. So again, this one is one that I just mow it. It's a definitely utility cut, definitely the roughest lawn that I ever have to mow. It's commercial property, lots of semi trucks are constantly, so much debris. They're constantly cutting the corners up top there where the semi trucks getting onto the road, that there's just deep ruts. So you can see that whole top section where those dandelions are. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I can't mow that right now. Last year I was able to mow the top, but there's just big, huge semi-truck ruts there, so I'm going to have to trim that now this year. And it's just the case every year. There's always more and more damage here. Let's move on to the next lawn on this property. I think in total, it's about an acre of actual grass, divided by about five lawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 different lawn sections. So I just did 2. Did that front boulevard is 1. That strip I just did is 2. This big back lawn here is probably the biggest main lawn. And then there's two front lawns. First time bringing the turf tracer out on this property as well this year. I wasn't really planning on it today, but the weather has been good for 2 weeks. So the drainage, which is my biggest issue with lawns, I figured would be okay today to handle the weight of the Navigator. This lawn's surrounded by lots of blackberry bushes. During the summer especially, July, August, the blackberry bushes here just absolutely take off. It's like I'm having to trim the runners that kind of come across the lawn on a weekly basis each time I'm here. Otherwise, they would take over the entire lawn. This property is nice because besides being really rough, which isn't the nice part, but the nice part is that they do have a compost area and I can just dump grass clippings. So I basically just back up the Navigator in the back corner of the property and then just dump. The worst parts about this property are just how rough it is. You can hear it in my speech as I'm talking. My voice changes as I hear a bump. Of course, lots of debris. It's not a good thing either. These trailers and tractor trailers sometimes are parked on the lawn, extending all the way this way. That's always a bit of a pain as well. So you gotta mow around them when they're on the lawn. You could really use a suspension seat on this property. But you know what? It's better than using the turf tracer because at least I'm seated. It's a little bit rough on my back, but on the turf tracer, this would be always gets rough on your knees and ankles bouncing around. Been mowing this property for about 6 years. As I've mentioned in other videos of this property, this used to be like a family farm. That current owners, who are 3 brothers, who grew up on this property and grew up living in this house right here, went on to turn this into a business. It's a hay distribution place, so they sell hay, bales, all different types of hay barrels. They don't grow the hay here, but they just truck it out of here from those big barns in the back. And the house that was the family homestead, they now rent out, so they're There's somebody else that lives in the house. So they rent that out as a secondary, I guess, income. If you're watching the live stream, let me know where you're from. Cool to know where people are watching from. A big stick in the lawn there. Gonna pick those up. I pick up those chunks of wood there. Those bigger pieces, so I don't knock those around in the blades. That's the other thing with this property is that there's always branches and sticks and things. Makes me nervous at times. I've shown up here and there's been fallen trees and branches and stuff. That's the only like real bad thing. Is that it's kind of neglected. So a lot of these trees, especially if it's windy in the fall and stuff, like those trees there, that one there especially, they don't look too healthy. So they make me nervous at times. I just noticed a cool branch. Check that out. It's growing underneath the larger branch and it's curving up, forming a new tree. That's pretty crazy. Look at that. Like full U-turn underneath the tree. That's just wild what nature will do sometimes. Coming up from the bottom and growing up. Let me know how the stream is doing if you can. I was having trouble with the stream this morning at a different location. Had to break it up into two different parts to see. Basically, I had to stop it and start it again. So I did a part 1 and part 2 to see if that would help it. Did a little bit, but it's still having issues. I'll see in the front half of the lawn if I can take the camera off and put it somewhere. So you get sort of a wide view instead of the POV style. Once we get through this back lawn section. Let me know if you have any questions, where you're from, where you're watching from. Hope you're having a good day. Hope your weather is good like it is here. I do love this Xmark Navigator. The only thing I don't like about it is the noise. It is super loud with that blower system. Lots of debris. Lots of molehills. See those? Always an issue as well. Sometimes of the year it's worse than others. The molehills. Tire ruts. See along the edge here. See all the dandelions. One of the reasons I wanted to collect grass clippings today on this one. Most of the times I use the turf tracer, just side discharge. I figured collect might help stop dandelions from spreading. It's funny, it's always in this patch here. This patch in front of this container always makes me kind of nervous as well. You can see the little concrete manhole cover there in the ground. This patch of grass here sits on top of an old septic tank. So, and it always grows really well, which be a sign of a septic tank. It's one of the things I worry about with the weight of the machine. It's potentially with an old septic tank, with all the rain and everything we get rotting out. And one minute you're mowing, and the next minute you find yourself inside the septic tank. The top of it gives way. I've heard of that happening before, so it always makes me kind of nervous. Almost done this section, then we'll be off to the front. Alright. Off to the front section. I'll see if I can mount the camera somewhere to get a different angle. All right, let me see if I can move the camera somewhere. I was having trouble opening the camera, so that might not be an option. Taking it off the little connector. Yeah, it's still not coming off, so I'm going to have to take it off my head. Just bear with me. Stuff back on. Put all my stuff back on, and we'll see if we can just take the whole camera. Stairs here, there's a set of stairs that'll probably work, or I can mount it. Kind of like that. And the audio should still connect. Going around this perimeter. Lots of blackberry bushes. Go up and down this bank a couple of times. The articulating deck works well for this, as it just follows the contour of the bank. Once I get that part done, I can better mow the rest of it normally. Then I gotta watch some tire ruts, some new ones that appeared over the winter right here, some big ones. So I can't go right up to the edge anymore. It's unfortunate, it needs more trimming again. There's also a hole in the middle there. If you guys have any questions, just let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after, and I will answer them. Now I can basically do my stripes here. To an extent. Those molehills are such a pain. The roughness of this lawn also restricts how fast I can kind of mow it. Otherwise, I'll hit a bump and go flying right off the seat. Need a seatbelt. Felt that one on my spine. Whoa. Oh. Just bouncing around. Hey. It's kind of funny that this is a hay place, and that this is kind of like the semi-agricultural part of land, or traditionally was the kind of farms and stuff like that. So every time I mow this property, it feels like I'm at the rodeo and I'm riding the bull, and it's trying to buck me off. All right, I gotta put the camera back on so I can get to the next one. over my head. Put the camera back over my neck. We can move on to the next section. Haven't heard any alarms yet for the hopper being full. We'll take a peek and see what we're at. Not too bad. It's about, what's that, half, 3/4? Guess I should have. Maybe not open that. There we go. That's a bit better. That's still not closing properly. The grass is still in the way, but it should be all right. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Keep an eye on it. I forgot I didn't have the bins in there containing it. I would definitely say this is my roughest property. More blackberry bushes. questions from anybody? One of the other things I love about the Navigator is the one-handed controls. Now you can just like control the mower with one hand, pull back to go reverse, go back to stop, reverse. My right hand is then free, and usually it's on speed control. So this gives me my forward speed. You see I'm set at a forward speed here, and I can control it as well by slowing down with the left hand. But I can also use my right hand there on that control. If I pull back on that until I get in the sun. See there? That's my forward speed. If I pull back, it stops. If I want to reverse, I have to pull back on these ones. I can control which way I'm turning, whether forward or reverse. I got to be with the forward speed going forward, and I can control by pulling whichever lever. So it's really nice because you can steer with one hand, and then if I go forward all the way, you pick up speed. So what I'll do is I steer with just the one hand and my right hand. My right hand always stays on the speed control there. And as I'm going over rough terrain and stuff, I can pull back to slow down on that speed control, push forward. But ultimately as well, if I find a speed I like that works, I can leave it to just the one hand. Really handy, especially if you got like an itchy nose or something. You know, you can scratch your nose. It doesn't affect your path. The hill, down the hill. Just a little bit more Try to mow as much as I can so I don't have to trim as much. This little path, this little hill. So that's the mowing part done. So that's all 5 of those lawns. So now I've just got to go dump and then go do the trimming. Go do the trimming of it. Sure everything's still good there. Got some debris sticking out of there. All right, let's go dump it. Let's go dump it. No questions so far. Be awesome if you guys could let me know. The sound quality is probably terrible with the mower running, but it is what it is. The headphones are going to try to cancel out the noise, but let me know in the chat where you guys are watching from. That would be cool. Let's go dump. Back of the property. And then we'll load this one up and then grab the trimmer. Start doing some trimming. There still might be a little bit of mowing. Yeah, there's a little bit of mowing still here to do, just along the house here. All that debris as well. This property is always rough on the blades. That's about good for the mowing. I think everything else I'm just going to trim today. It's bright and sunny on this gravel, dirt path. Here's generally where I am allowed to dump. Tin cans. That's right. That's the good. At any rate, got some debris in here. And there's that screen. This is the airflow screen. Allows the air to pass through while trapping the grass clippings. I've talked about the difference between this machine and a walker. One of the key differences with this machine So I've talked about the differences between this machine and the walker on this, and one of the key differences between the two is with the walker, it's the same system essentially, but it comes with a screen that has, I think it was quarter-inch holes standard. So these holes here are quarter inch. And then if you're doing really tough conditions like wet grass and things like that, you have to buy a completely different screen that is 1 inch square holes, much bigger to allow the air to still pass when you've got like wet leaves or super thick lush grass and things like that. So how Xmark deals with that is they don't sell a different screen, they just give you this one. And what they do differently is they make this front section here, see the wing nuts, they make this section removable. Now this sits in the top like that, and normally your grass clippings are coming from underneath where that blower is, and the air is flowing up and out of that vent on top of the door right there. So the air passes through, allowing the grass clippings to get stuck. But in those tough conditions, this can clog up with wet leaves and things like that. So you can remove that front section there so that you have a big gap there to allow air to pass through. And then that way you don't ever get you don't ever get any clogs. Just trying to remember how this goes back on. Oh, there we go. So it's a cool system. I like that it don't have to have an extra piece. It's just the same piece regardless. So that just slides in like that. And it's in there like that. Yeah, so you can see the grass clippings come out of there. Grass will get trapped in here. The air flows out through the top. There's an opening in the top of the door there, which flows out here. On this unit, the blades are counteracting, so they shoot the grass clippings towards the center. So you have a blade on that side, a blade on that side. Instead of going this way and shooting clippings out the side like a normal one, this one is counteracting, so both blades are cutting towards the center and shooting the clippings out the middle. The deck chute is in the middle of it. It goes immediately into a... You can see the chute right here. Goes immediately into this blower housing. There's a big 10.5-inch blower fan right there. You can kind of see the blades. So that's turning and it shoots the clippings up into the hole on the hopper, and then it ends up inside the machine. So it's essentially like vacuuming a lawn while it's mowing, and that's why it does so good in the fall. I've had on my Instagram where I show in the fall on this property here. Let's head to the trailer and load up. Grab the trimmer. Check the traffic. Let's get run over by a semi-truck. Getting a 20% low battery warning. So might be able to do the stream a little bit more. Gotta grab my straps. Threw them on the front floor. So you can see the machine just barely fits in this trailer. And if it wasn't for that articulating deck, I would not be able to get it in here. That was the exact same experience with the walker. One of the reasons I bought the walker initially, years ago. So then just release those the pins on either side, and then you can grab the handle and lift up the deck. And then I'm just going to strap the deck, strap the mower tight against the back wall. Ooh, I got something sticky on my hand from that handle, like tree sap or something. That'll work. Those blades are gonna need a sharpen after hitting some rocks and stuff from those molehills. The other nice thing about this Navigator is those transport wheels right there. They're still the original ones that came on the mower. They're much thicker and heavier duty than the Walker. The Walker ones are tiny. They're thinner than my finger. And when transporting like this, bouncing around in the trailer, they would always break. To the point that I got so frustrated in replacing them and the cost of replacing them that I ended up buying one last set and using it as a stencil to trace onto like hard maple, solid maple plywood. And I just made tons of sets of wooden wheels for the Walker deck and just painted them all black and would replace them. They actually lasted a lot longer than the flimsy plastic ones, but I just always had extras that I could replace when needed. Doing a mix of stuff. As you can see, got the aerator loaded up, got the edger, just a bunch of different miscellaneous jobs that I had to get to today. Got 2 bars. That's hopefully enough. If not, we'll come back and grab a battery if we need to. But I think that should be good. Let's go along here and knock away some of these weeds. Give me what I can. Kind of in the areas where I can't get the mower. Because this, just got a piece of dirt in my mouth. Because this property is just so rough and it's always evolving with the trimming. There's always something new, like those tire ruts and stuff that I have to trim, new areas. I don't do all of it each week. I just tackle certain areas or certain things, like around this tree, the front entrance, around this big tree. This stuff I trim every week because it's very public. And grows pretty quickly at certain times of year, like this year, or right now I should say. So I'll trim this stuff. But then other parts, maybe like every 2 weeks, just to be able to manage the amount of trimming. Like I said, I don't know how long the stream is going to be able to go to. I already got the 20% warning when I was loading up the machine. That's the thing about the live streaming, is it goes through battery on the phone in an hour. I'm using like one of the Pro Max iPhones, so it's a larger model, larger battery, and still it can easily go through about 60% battery when I'm live streaming in about an hour. So that's why I start getting battery warnings, because usually I've already used the phone for other things, listening to podcasts and stuff like that, on other jobs. No comments yet today, or at least on this stream. That's interesting. Nobody wants to say anything. I tell you, it's a good thing I've had a podcast for 10 years, talking to myself. Otherwise, these live streams would not be possible. Wouldn't be able to give you any commentary. I'm kind of over the dork phase, or the phase of feeling like a dork. That happened a long time ago, years ago. I'm over that now, so walking around the property in public with a large iPhone hanging off my neck and seemingly talking to myself while customers look on is not a big deal anymore for me. It's funny how that happens. See, so like this edge here, normally I would trim this all around this edge, right? But I'm looking at going, you know what, it's not too bad. I mowed up to it. So I'll leave this section for next week, because I know I got a lot to do up the front there. And I'll trim around this house because of the renters, so that they don't complain about anything. They don't like the look of it or something. And just kind of use my better judgment. So far, it's served me well for the past 6 years on this property. I'm doing it this way. I call it job management. I get that from my daughter, who is a high-level soccer player, and she frequently, in games, when they're up, and time is counting down, that she will talk about game management, slowing things down, wasting time, basically, that sort of stuff. Taking the ball to the corner of the opposition instead of trying to make a play that might result in turning possession over, but instead just take it into the corner and use your strength to kind of hold it there, just to knock seconds off the clock. Game management. So when it comes to doing jobs like this and trimming bigger areas and by myself, I can't possibly do it all in the allotted time that I give myself for the price that I've quoted. Then I call it job management. Same sort of thing. Just trimming what I can, the really high profile areas, and then alternating other ones that maybe aren't as priority. Up here is growing a lot, so I'll do this week. This is one I skipped last week. I was doing the top of this. It was also later in the day last week when I was here. I normally mow this property on a Thursday, but I skipped it yesterday. It's Friday. I skipped it so I could get home early. Oh, this is new. See this? Molehills up top here now. Never had that in the last 6 years. So I left early from work yesterday because I was going to the soccer game, MLS soccer game. Miami FC with Mr. Lionel Messi was in town. It was the talk of the town, playing my hometown, Vancouver Whitecaps. So I knew it was going to be a zoo, downtown Vancouver. And it's about an hour drive, so I wanted to get there early and get parking, do all that. So worked out. We got there just in time, just after 7. Just as they were starting to do their warm-ups. Game was at 7:30 when we left this area here at 5:30. So it took a couple hours to get down there, just with the traffic and parking, and then where we parked, we had to walk and stuff. So I left this property for today instead, which is nice. One of the benefits of having your own business, being that flexibility, the freedom. It looks like I'm getting another low battery warning. In fact, I don't even know how long that's been up there for. So we might have to, if I can see, I'm at 9% battery. 9%. So I think I'm just going to trim this this bank here, and then I'm going to end the live stream so it doesn't cut out. Otherwise, it won't finish processing if the battery dies. Let's get through this. Camera's probably getting covered in grass clippings. And there we go. That'll do for that one. So I'm just going to head into the shade for a second. Thanks for watching the live stream. Appreciate it. So the batteries on my phone is about to go. Ooh, so I don't want to push it. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll do another one last week. Unfortunately, no comments on this one, but that's all right. Is what it is. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday. All right, we'll catch you guys next time.